Welcome back, everyone, to the Direct Book Me podcast, your go to source for vacation rental strategies that actually work. And like always, I'm Carlos.
And I'm Aaron. And folks, we've got what might be our most time sensitive episode that we've ever done today, and super excited about it too.
That's right, because as most of you know, and if you don't, in less than 3 months, the biggest event in vacation rental history kicks off. I'm talking about the 2026 FIFA World Cup.
Yes, and everyone's excited about it. 104 matches, you've got 16 host cities, 39 days. This thing just keeps going on, and somewhere between 5 and 6.5 million stadium attendees, and all of those people are looking for places to stay.
Yeah, and so today we're giving you guys the complete playbook, the pricing strategies that actually work, and how to prep for your property for international guests and the mistakes you absolutely can't afford to make.
Let's get into it.
All right, Aaron. So let's start. Because I've seen some wild numbers floating around about what operators can expect during the World Cup.
Yeah, I mean, you mean the guy that we saw with Kansas City and $20,000 a night, that kind of guy?
Yeah, I came across that too, and look, I get it. The opportunity is there. It's massive. But, collectively hosts are earning $210 million on Airbnb alone during this tournament.
Yeah, key data's December analysis shows that across all cities, nights sold are up almost 300%, or basically 300% year over year for the World Cup window, and revenue per property is up 533%. So, ton of opportunity here.
Yeah, yeah, these numbers are totally insane. And here's a number that should excite everyone and all the operators in host cities. Airbnb searches for World Cup destinations are up 80% year over year. The demand is definitely real.
Oh, you cut out a little bit. I think you're frozen.
Am I back?
Oh, yep, I can hear you now.
Okay. All right, so I'll timestamp that 11:46 just so that they fix it. Okay. All right. So you're on now. Yeah. You want me to
But,
say that
and this
line?
is a critical.
You want me to
Yeah,
say
you're
that
right. If you
line
want to say
again?
the line, if you
Yeah. Okay,
yeah,
that
that
works.
works.
All right. All right. All right. And here's a number that should excite every operator in the whole city. Airbnb searches for World Cup destinations are up over 80% year over year. So the demand is definitely real.
Oh, you froze again. Sorry,
Ah, Jesus, man.
it's cutting in and out a little bit.
Yeah, yeah. So I see it here. The internet is 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 not stable. Okay, I'm back. Am I good?
It's cutting out a little bit, in and out here. Um, yeah, it's like every couple seconds, it's coming in and
But
out.
can you hear me better now or still?
Yeah, now it seems clear. Yep.
Okay, all right. So I'm gonna start again from that
Okay.
line. We're gonna be at the bottom of the first page. Um, okay, here we go. And here's a number that should excite every operator in the whole city. Airbnb searches for World Cup destinations are up over 80% year over year. That demand is definitely there.
Yeah, but and this is a critical but, the Paris Olympics taught us a very expensive lesson about what happens when supply tends to flood the market.
Really? Tell me more about Paris.
Yeah, so Airbnb listings in Paris nearly doubled ahead of the Olympics. Went from about 74,000 to 140,000 listings, and despite having a over 200% surge in demand, overall summer occupancy actually fell 9%, or 4.9%, sorry.
Wow. So revenue per available rental dropped about 25%, and then the average listing prices collapsed about 57% from what hosts were asking a year before the event.
Exactly. Hosts expected 30 million euros in profits were devastated. And the pattern is, I think, is clear here. When you have temporary demand, temporary demand spikes, it The supply floods, and that suppresses both the pricing and the occupancy. So it's not a good outcome, even though it's a short-term spike.
Yeah, so in today's episode, it's about capturing the real money, not fantasy, not fake money. So let's break down exactly how to do that.
And I think first things first, the key is you need to know exactly what's happening in your specific city because the demand picture is not even across all 16 host venues.
Yeah, so let's run through the tiers. You've got Dallas and Arlington. They lead all venues with 9 matches, including the semifinal on the 14th of July. And if you're in DFW, you've got a 30-day sustained demand window.
Yeah, and if you go into the Northeast, New York and New Jersey get 8 matches, including the final on July 19th. Atlanta gets 8 matches with the other semifinal on July 15th as well.
Yeah, and then you got LA, Houston, and then my hometown Miami. They each get 7 matches, which with Miami and Boston hosting the quarterfinals.
Yeah, Miami, shout out to the 305. Here's what gets interesting. The booking data shows massive differences in how aggressively each of these markets is moving. So it's not flat.
Yeah, Kansas City is the breakout market. The demand has surged close to 400% year over year, the highest of any U.S. or Canadian city. And the reservations per property are up an insane 1,500%.
Yeah, being from Missouri, I can tell you that the Kansas Cityans love their sports, so no surprise there. But Kansas City is approximately 500 listings short of the projected demand. Supply has only grown about 10%, and so that's where you have real pricing power.
Yeah, and then Boston shows similar dynamics. I mean, the reservations per property are up almost 2,000%, with booking windows stretching to 66 to 122 days in advance. Completely unprecedented for an urban market.
Yeah, and if you compare that to the West Coast, LA actually shows negative 10% in reservations per property, according to key data, despite the rate increases. Seattle shows a strong game day demand, but modest premiums of only 22 to 30% above normal, so not crazy.
Yeah, maybe it has something to do because the West Coast doesn't host any semifinals or the final, and that really matters. I mean, all matches from quarterfinals on are in the eastern half of the country.
Yeah, so again, step one, you've got to know your market's actual demand profile. When you look at Dallas, Atlanta, New York, and Miami for the longest windows, Kansas City, Boston, Philadelphia for the strongest booking momentum, West Coast for shorter but still solid opportunities.
Yeah, for sure. And remember, the tournament runs from June 11th through July 19th. That's 39 days total. And then you got the group stage, which is June 11th through the 27th, and then the knockout round starts, I think, is June 28th.
Oh, definitely. Know your markets. All right, let's talk pricing because this is where most operators are going to either make their year or leave money on the table.
Definitely, let's touch on that. First, so let's establish the realistic baseline. Conservative models, are at 90% price increase over typical summer rates across host cities. And then Lighthouse Intelligence data confirms that the US and Canada host cities are tracking from 55 to 90% rate increases.
And those are realistic benchmarks, not 500%, not 1,000%, roughly double your normal summer rates. And so I think that's reasonable.
Yeah, definitely a lot of numbers here, a lot of data here that people need to know. So now let's look at what's actually booking. You've got AirDNA showing 75% of the New Jersey area World Cup bookings are under 500 a night, and then in the KC area, 56% of book listings are under $500.
Yeah, and the sweet spot for most markets appears to be around $300 to $500 per night, roughly double the normal summer rates. With the premium properties in stadium adjacent locations commanding $500 to $1,000, which is crazy.
Yeah, and then you got the biggest event here in the States, usually is a Super Bowl, and then it reinforces this from two different directions. Back in 2023 Super Bowl in Phoenix, hosts flooded the market, and listings jumped just over 15%, and many went unbooked. The Super Bowl day occupancy was just 21.6%.
But if you take a look at another market in 2025 Super Bowl in New Orleans, where regulations limited supply, ADR hit almost $1,300 per night, a 378% week over week increase, and RevPAR scores 800 soared 820%. Scarcity, not the speculation, drove those returns.
Yeah, so here's the expert recommended pricing framework from Price Labs and other industry sources.
Yeah, and so number one, start high and adjust down. Price Labs explicitly will tell you if you're already booked 4 months out, you are likely too cheap. Set, what you think is aggressive, but also realistic premiums early to capture those less price sensitive travelers.
Yeah, you got to shoot for the moon, as they say.
Yeah,
But then
definitely.
number two, hold your price floor until 60 days out, and don't start giving panic discounts months before the event. The bulk of the World Cup arrives in the final 2 to 3 months.
Yeah, definitely. Be patient out there. And number three, price by tournament phase. Group stage sees broad distributed demand, premium but competitive rates. Knockout rounds concentrate fans in specific cities, enabling sharper increases for confirmed host venues.
Yeah. And on to number four, you have to use the dynamic pricing tools. Don't just set a flat override and forget it. Properties using dynamic pricing earn just over 40% more annual revenue than those using the fixed rates.
Yep, and PriceLab recommends layering event-specific dates overrides on top of dynamic pricing, not replacing it entirely.
And number five, and this is probably the most crucial, you have to optimize for RevPAR and not just ADR. A book night at $400 always beats an empty night listed at 1,000. I mean, revenue per available night is your North Star metric. It's your gold star.
Absolutely. And think about it this way. If you list at $2,000 a night and book 4 nights, that's 8 grand. If you list at 400 and stay full for 30 nights, that's $12,000. You got to look at it that big picture that you're really thinking about.
For sure, that's what it's about. And then you've had past World Cup pricing, gives you some kind of benchmark. I mean, back in Qatar in 2022, Airbnb prices saw a jump of just over 100% on average. And then in Russia, Moscow they raised their prices from 150 to 300%, with Airbnb generating over $40 million in host earnings.
40 million, just crazy numbers.
Yeah,
When you
right.
look at Brazil in 2014, they saw the Rio host earn an average of $4,000 during the month, with 100% markup properties selling out completely. So demand was super high then.
Yeah. So there's a consistent pattern. You've got moderate, strategic pricing outperforming speculative extremes.
Absolutely. Let's switch gears here to preparing for some international guests and property prep for that. Because here's a number that should shape everything that you do. 1.24 million international visitors are expected to the US alone during the World Cup. So a big number.
Jeez, man, that's gonna be a lot of people. I
Yeah.
mean, these guys they stay on average what 2 weeks and spend about $400 a day. And then you got your Latin American visitors. Their average nightly stays are 16 nights. And your European visitors about 2 weeks as well. And Asia, your travelers from Asia, about the same, almost 2 weeks.
Yeah, soccer's a world sport. No matter where you go, you see it.
Definitely.
Fans are devoted. And when you look at this, 70% of the international travelers plan to visit more than one host city. So you're not just competing with local properties, you're competing with properties across multiple markets here.
Yeah, definitely. And let's start with the broadcast access. I mean, this is non-negotiable. This is definitely not. You got Fox, they carry 70 matches. FS1 carries 34 in English. And then you got, for our Espanol speakers, Telemundo. They're broadcasting 92 matches. And Universo is carrying 12 in Spanish alone.
Yeah, and all 104 matches stream on the Fox Sports app and Peacock. Your smart TVs need these apps preloaded with credentials on a laminated card or some other type of placard. Internet
Yeah.
speeds have to be high, at least 25 millibytes per second, preferably 50 plus for 4K streaming.
Yeah, definitely have to be game day ready, you know. And just create a simple channel guide showing which network carries which match, and your guests will thank you.
Yep. I can't tell you. I have a smart TV in some of my rentals, and we've hosted international guests, and it will save you and even domestic guests. Regardless, it will save you a lot of time if you have instructions on how to navigate through your internet and your TV channels and how to get people to where they want. So definitely important. Language preparation, I think, is one of the highest impact investments you can make when we're talking about today's world or today's World Cup. Spanish is the top priority. Massive contingents from Mexico, Argentina, Ecuador, Colombia, plus the large U.S. Spanish-speaking population already here.
Yeah, I mean, U.S. is a melting pot. We have those cultures here already, and we're close to Central, South America. So they'll be coming, in floods. And then you got, Portuguese for Brazil and French for France, and Francophone African nations. You got Germans, Arabic, should all be on your radar, depending on who's playing in your city.
100%. And it'll help if you can create a multilingual digital guidebooks and accessible VRQ codes. People love QR codes. We have them all over our places. If you're using laminated instruction cards with photos and diagrams for appliances, visual guides will transcend language barriers better than translated text.
Yeah, as they say, as a cliche, communication is key, and they got to be able to know what they're doing or seeing, in your property. But now the practical amenities for international travels. I mean, this is a $50 to $100 investment. Small amount, peanuts that dramatically improve the guest experience.
Yep. Yeah, first think about your plugins. Your universal plug adapter baskets are crucial. Your Type
Yeah.
C and F for Europe, your Type G for the UK, Type N for Brazil. You need to buy about 5 to 10 adapters and put them in a visible basket where hosts know as soon as they come in, that's one less thing they have to worry about, and it's right front and center for them.
Yeah, it's an easy purchase. I mean, I've gone to Europe a couple times and forgot my adapter, and then you're scrambling, right? You got to stop and buy one before you go sightseeing. And then your USB charging stations in every room with spare lighting and the USB-C cables. I mean, electric kettles essential for British, Asian, and hosts. I'm sorry, and travelers from the Middle East. You know.
Yeah, those things go a long way. We have USB and different chargers in all of our rooms. Talking about coffee too, we have all kind. We have two or three different coffee makers in our places. So you want to think about things like espresso makers or mocha pots. European guests expect quality coffee beyond just your traditional drip. Your tea variety, in addition to coffee, like keep a tea variety, including mint tea for Middle Eastern and North African guests. Having a variety there and adjusting your place to more some of the more customary traditions and coffees and things like that will go a long way with guests.
Yeah, especially like I mentioned earlier, knowing those matches, who's coming to your town, will help you kind of decide what to stock as well. And then water. You gotta have water. I mean, it's the first thing international travelers look for after long hauls. Coming over 8 hour, 10 hour flights.
Yep. Water is something that we stay stocked with at our place. There's a case of it. The worst part is that we live on the unit is on the fourth floor, so we're lugging huge water
Oh,
up to our unit every time, which is always fun.
yeah.
Um, let's talk about cleaning and turnovers. With back-to-back bookings likely across the tournament, you need to plan this now.
Yeah, set your checkout times at 10 a.m. and check in at 4 p.m. And that gives you a 6 hour turnover window.
Yeah, you need to recruit backup cleaning teams at ASAP. Demand for your cleaning services during these times are going to surge across all host cities, and so you can expect to pay 50 to 100% of premium rates during the World Cup.
Yeah, and you've got platforms like Turno, Breezeway, and Properly Connect. They connect you with SDR specific cleaning professionals and their pre-staged supply bins. They get multiple linen sets and create room by room photo checklists for you.
Yep. And I think critical, just the operators who have cleaning locked in by April will have a massive advantage over those who are scrambling in June when there's no supply left.
Yeah, that's critical. Creating that system is definitely a big time. So let's continue on. Let's get on to the next segment. Let's talk about insurance and regulations and risk management, everyone's favorite topic. uh, let's talk about the stuff nobody wants to think about. Like I mentioned, insurance and
Yeah,
regulation.
Carlos, as you know, my 9 to 5 is insurance and regulations, and I don't even want to talk about it. So,
Yeah, that's
the
that.
most. Go ahead.
Yeah, that's a word. No matter what when you say insurance, everyone kind of turns a frown.
Definitely, definitely. Here's the most common and costly mistakes new hosts make. Standard homeowners policies do not cover short-term rental activity. Period. It's excluded, and you can get yourself in a real bind if you don't have the right protection set up.
Yeah, you need dedicated short-term rental insurance, and providers like Proper Insurance. You've got Safely or Steadily, and this should be included in your property damage coverage, 1 to 2 million in liability protection, loss of income coverage, and business personal protection. I mean, Airbnb cover or whatever it's called, people have it misconstrued and they think it's enough. It's not.
Yeah, yeah. Shout out to Proper Insurance. That's who we use on our units, and love them so far. But you're right. Airbnb's air cover provides 3 million in damage protection, but it only covers Airbnb bookings and has significant exclusions. It's not. It's by far not a substitute for real insurance that you need.
Yeah, and then for the World Cup, I mean, bookings they increase your security deposits, from 500 to 1,000 minimum.
Yeah, absolutely. And now on to regulations, and I think this is where things get market specific and enforcement is intensifying ahead of the tournament. And things are cracking down a little bit.
Yeah, regulations, they're always going to be there, and you got certain cities like New York, their local law 18 prohibits rentals under 30 days unless the host is present and limits days to two guests. And that's pushing World Cup demand into the New Jersey area, like Newark and Jersey and Hoboken.
Yep. If you look at places like Vancouver, they restrict STRs to primary residences only, and they face a projected 70,000 night accommodation shortfall there. LA enforces a 120-day cap on unhosted stays, so definitely some restrictions that you have to watch out for in your markets.
Hey, in Kansas City, I mean, they did something. They created a special World Cup short-term rental registration at a reduced $50 rate, a fee. So just be aware and check your markets, for something similar.
Yeah, and be aware too, a critical point is that your permit applications can take 30 to 90 days. So if you're not already registered, your window is closing fast.
Yeah, and then you got your cancellation policies. They should default to strict for World Cup dates. Guests are booking months in advance, and last-minute cancellations leave you stranded during the highest value period of the year.
It's the worst, a nightmare for hosts there.
Wow.
Uh, beyond pricing recommends offering a 5 to 10% non-refundable discount to lock in revenue certainty, which I think is a great tool.
Yeah, and then you got, your minimum stays. The data shows that the World Cup stays are actually shorter than your typical summer bookings. I mean, your average lengths are falling 24 to 40% across host cities.
Yeah, in Boston, average stays dropped from 7 nights to under four, and 80% of the Kansas City bookings are for 4 nights or fewer, and 2 night stays are the most common pattern.
So set event-specific minimums, 2 to 3 nights during match windows. Your longer minimums for far in advance bookings that you can relax as dates approach.
Yeah, and guest screening also deserves some heightened attention here. Tools like AutoHost and SuperHog and TrueV verify identity and will flag potential issues for you, which can save you a ton of headache down the road.
Yeah, and then set clear house rules. I mean, your maximum occupancy, explicit no party policies, and then what your quiet hours are, and they're typically from 10 to 7. And then your indoor noise monitoring devices like Noise Aware or Minute are permitted on Airbnb if disclosed.
Yep. And note, as of April 2024, indoor security cameras are completely banned on Airbnb, even in hallways and common areas, even if they're turned off. And outdoor cameras and doorbells are still okay if they're disclosed.
Yeah, you still need some layer of security. I agree with having the outdoor cameras for sure, as long as you let
Definitely.
them know. And now, my favorite part, as always, is the direct booking opportunity. So let's bring this home with what we always like talking about, the direct booking aspect of it, because the World Cup might be the best acquisition event in our lifetime.
Yeah, if you just think about what's happening. You've got over 1 million international visitors coming to the U.S. for an average of 12 days. These are affluent travelers spending $416 per day.
Yeah, and 70% of them are visiting multiple host cities. These aren't one and done guests. I mean, they're people who travel internationally for major events, and some of them, like here in Florida, the host, the city is Miami, but who's to say they're gonna go to Disney, they're gonna go to Tampa, they're gonna go to the Keys, and make a trip of it.
Right, when in Rome, or in this case, Florida, or wherever the World
Yeah.
Cup is.
Nah.
So, there's an opportunity here if you capture their information during this stay. You've got a direct line to them for the 2028 Olympics that are in LA, and for future World Cups, and for any major event that brings international travel.
Yep, definitely own that host guest relationship. It's huge. I mean, Airbnb's position as official FIFA World Cup tournament supporter means they're getting premium placement on FIFA.com with direct booking buttons. That's a structural advantage for the platform.
Yeah. But here's the flip side, because I always have to play the devil's advocate here. Every one of
Yeah,
those guests who books through Airbnb, you're paying 15% or more in commissions there. So on a 10-night stay at, let's say, $400 per night, that's $600 going to Airbnb and money lost for you as a host.
yeah. I mean, it's at the end of the day, it's your business. It's profit and that you're not seeing at all. And your direct booking infrastructure needs to be ready. You capture the Wi-Fi capturing systems like StayFi, branded splash pages that collect emails when guests connect. Case study shows that the operators building 50,000 email lists are generating over $30,000 in direct bookings within 6 months alone.
Yeah, and email marketing generally returns $36 to $44 for every dollar spent, and 64% of operators use special offers for direct rebooking.
Yeah. And then physical and property marketing still works too. I mean, one of my favorite ones, QR codes linking to your direct booking site. Simple and easy. It's a card that says book direct for your next stay and save 10%.
Yeah, absolutely. Again, shout out to QR codes. They save you so much headache and time, and they're so easy for
Yeah.
people. And one of the big things we strive on is like simple, easy experience creates guest favorites. And so with those things like QR codes, you can offer that 10% discount because you're saving 15% in commissions, and you still come out ahead, and the guest comes out ahead too. So it's a win-win.
Yeah, create. I mean, you can create a dedicated World Cup landing page on your direct site featuring, the schedules, how close are you to the stadium, transit. Not everyone's gonna have a car, and show that you understand what these guests need.
Yeah, and email your past guests in the host city markets now. Segment by geography, target fans from countries playing in your city, and offer early bird direct booking rates.
Definitely, the operators who treat the World Cup as a guest acquisition opportunity, not just as revenue, are the ones who will be building lasting businesses from this, and that's what it's about. It's about repeating, wash, rinse, repeat, as they say, and owning that traffic, so that you can generate new ones later on. So that's what it's about.
Yeah, that great experience generates your customer base for who knows how long. So just great great to focus on the guest experience and build your business at the same time. All right, so let's wrap up with your action plan. You've got roughly 90 days until the tournament starts, and here's what needs to happen.
Yeah. So in the next 2 weeks, finalize insurance. Make sure you have a dedicated short-term rental coverage with at least $1 million in liability. And if you're not already permitted, start that application today.
Yep. And by mid-April, lock in your cleaning teams, interview some backup crews, get commitments in writing. The operators who wait until May will be competing with everyone else for the same cleaners.
Yeah, and then by the end of April, I mean, complete your property upgrades. Streaming setup tested and ready, and then your multilingual guidebooks created. Adapter baskets stocked, and then get those espresso makers in place.
Yep. And switching gears to pricing, set your rates now at the high end of realistic, roughly double your normal summer rates for most markets. Use dynamic pricing tools and not flat overrides.
But don't panic. If you're not fully booked 60 days out, that's when the final booking wave arrives. Hold your floor until then.
Yeah, and build your direct booking capture now. Get StayFi or similar Wi-Fi capture system in place. Create your follow-up email sequences. Have your book direct next time cards ready as well.
Yeah, the opportunity is real. I mean, it's projected that 200 million in Airbnb host earnings alone. But the operators who win will be the ones who price with discipline and prepare. And they treat it as the beginning of guest relationships, not just a one-time windfall.
Yeah, you're exactly right. Don't chase that $20,000 a night fantasy. It's just not
Right.
realistic. Chase that $400 a night reality that actually books and deliver a great experience, and that capture your guest information, and that builds your business.
All right, that's our show. And if you're in a host city and you want to talk about, your specific World Cup strategy, reach out. You know where to find us. We'd love to hear that what you're working on.
Well, until next time, keep building that direct booking business.
See you guys next episode.